into your point about the mass deportations, which of course was popular with his base and was partly why he was really bringing that up over and over again. The current administration has said they don't even have enough money to staff and to accomplish the de minimis things that they're trying to do now. So his goals may or may not be able to be accomplished from a budgetary or personnel or even, as you said, the authorization to do so on his own. At the same time, there are valid concerns about the rule of law. And to your point also, when you mentioned a lot of this would have to be rubber stamped by the judiciary, whether it's line attorneys at the U.S. Attorney's Office, there's also the Judiciary. And I do want to ask you about this because when he was 4 years in office, he was able to remarkably adjust the federal judiciary, Supreme Court, of course, as well, but even at all the federal courts. And now he has another 4 years to do so. And as we've seen with even Jack Smith's investigation and other court cases against former President Trump, that can really move the needle on the rule of law. If you capture the courts, that's one of the straightest lines to destabilizing sort of democracies and the rule of law, as we could see around the world. What can we expect in terms of opportunities for him at the judicial level from bottom to the top?
So there's no question with another 4 years, he's going to make an even more significant impact across the federal judiciary from the district court level to the circuit level to likely another appointment on the Supreme Court. And he already had a remarkable 3 appointments in just one 4-year term, which is very unusual. There's no question there'll be that impact. And certainly there's also no question that there have been certain judges he's appointed that at least, some legal some lawyers and litigators like myself are critical of. And that's usually the case. We always have some judges with whom we disagree and we think that they've made decisions the wrong way. I will say, though, there are plenty of Trump appointed judges who are solid, respected, competent, neutral judges. And you've seen that through so many litigations. I mean, 4 years ago in 2020, they threw baseless challenges to the election out of court, right? We've seen even just this election, judges, in fact, I think it was a federal Trump appointed judge in Georgia who, actually, no, I don't want to conflate my cases. I'm not sure if he was the one ruling keeping polling places open. Let's scratch that because
was that Pennsylvania? That might have been Pennsylvania, but I'm not positive.
No, Pennsylvania was different. There was a judge in Florida or in Georgia yesterday who agreed to keep all of. But I think the judge in Georgia was a Trump appointee. Was the one who rejected a different. I know what it was. Yes. A Trump appointed judge in Georgia, I believe, was the one who, rejected the litigation to try to not accept absentee ballots over the weekend, for example, just kind of toss that out. So there's been lots of judges, Trump appointed judges who I think have done exactly what we expect of them. So I'm not ready to paint that broad brush that, oh my gosh, everyone he appoints is going to be a disaster, because I don't believe that to be the case. There are certainly some, and I will say, honestly, from my perspective, Judge Cannon is one of them, who I think has not faithfully applied the law to the cases, to at least the Trump-related case in front of her. And but there's been plenty that have been solid judges, and I do think it's a shame sometimes the way that we always attach the president who appointed a judge to the judge as though that is going to tell us definitively how they're going to rule in any case. We know
a lot of times they don't, whether it's Democrat appointed or Republican. Right. Sometimes you're surprised and shocked at the outcome. So that is good to know that it's not always going to be a rubber stamping green light, depending on who gets appointed and how they're vetted.